I was one of the first people to have the Intracept procedure, and it was back in 2017, which means it was 5 years ago. And as I sit here today, it's been 5.5 years that I've been pain-free. You know, as I think about the history of my back pain, it actually goes back decades. My entire adult life, I suffered from some kind of back pain, sometimes minor, sometimes major, but it never went away. During that time, I did everything that I'm sure everybody who has back pain has done. Physical therapy and shots and various different doctors. And sometimes it would help a little, sometimes it would help a little bit more, but it never completely took care of the pain. And as I got a little bit older, the pain seemed to snowball. And I got to the point where I was in pain all waking hours, and sometimes during my sleeping hours too. I kept hearing the same answer from the doctors, which is, what you have is not curable, and you likely are going to have to live with some form of back pain your whole life. I'm the kind of person where I actually just wouldn't accept that. So I continued to dig and dig over the years, and I was really lucky to come across a doctor who one day said to me, "I think I have a solution for you."
So it's not every back patient. So it is a select subset of back patients that we call anterior column pain that we've described before. You know, people have more pain when they're standing, leaning forward, doing activities, relieved by lying down. I think there is a significant population in the country that satisfies these criteria that has been unnoticed, undiagnosed, untreated. I think that's what's exciting, is that more and more people are aware of this treatment, and the awareness is going to lead to more people getting treated and eventually getting better.
As I said earlier, I was one of the first in the country to have this procedure done. So when I talked to my doctor, there wasn't a lot that we talked about because there wasn't a lot of experience before me. You know, today, so many thousands of people have had it done, but back in the day, I didn't know that. I did ask what sort of the long-term potential consequences or the long-term relief plan would be. When I had mine done, they didn't really know because I was early on. But I figured if I could even get a year's worth of relief, how great would that be? But I've been pain-free 5.5 years. Have I said that a few times? Because it's still remarkable to me that it's just gone.
This is unbelievable. You know, we looked at the data and looked at the papers and wrote them. But it's nothing like seeing your own patient. This is a great procedure because very, very not invasive, and the outcomes are on par or better with some of the most invasive treatments that we have available. So the other thing that I've seen over years is that even people who don't get full relief can get other procedures, so it doesn't burn any bridges.
Understanding my story and how I feel now requires a little bit of perspective, because certainly there's the back pain. But there's also the emotional toll that having low back pain takes on you. You know, for decades, I couldn't do much at all. I couldn't sit for long. I couldn't stand for long. I couldn't walk for long. I couldn't do a lot of active adventures. But one of the key things was when we started to have grandbabies, I couldn't sit down on the floor and play with them. Anyone who's had low back pain knows, getting down on the floor and getting back up off the floor is awful, but the act of sitting on the floor is horrible. And babies want to sit on the floor. So those were things that I lived with, and it was weighed on me all the time. I felt like I was missing out. I was sitting on the sidelines, and everybody else was really participating in life. You know, now that I've had the surgery, and it's been years since I had it, I do absolutely everything I want. We travel, I exercise, we play with the grandkids. Sitting and rolling on the floor with the little babies, I don't even give it second thought now. Whereas before, I felt like I was just being held back from doing the things I wanted. Because of the Intracept procedure, I can do anything and everything I want. I feel great, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and I credit it all to this procedure. I would say to anybody who's out there looking for a solution, you don't have to live with low back pain. It doesn't have to be something that you just endure or get temporary relief from. The Intracept procedure truly is, if you are the right candidate and you have the right doctor, it truly is life-changing. You begin to experience life the way it should be because of this very simple, non-invasive procedure with a really quick recovery time.
For the patients who are candidates for this procedure, and I've been through the usual physical therapy, anti-inflammatories, etc., not getting relief, I typically would recommend that this is the next step they should be looking into. This is part of the success of Intracept, is all those voices out there saying that this works, this is great, got my life back, and patients believe patients.
I'm just one story, and there are so many other stories out there of people who have been able to relieve all of their back pain with the Intracept procedure. So please go out there and discover all these other stories, because there are so many people just like you who have experienced what you are going through and have found lasting relief.